Well, good evening. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Just double check what I got going on here. Okay. Welcome. It's Sunday. It's the Sunday wrap. We had a chat this afternoon, and we had Donald Rex join us. So if you want to watch that, that's on my channel. Yeah, we're back to a Sunday schedule. Sort of, because next weekend, with it being the holidays, not sure if we're going to get up. Oh, Cthulhu Hand Luke, how the hell are you? Not sure if we're going to get to chat next week. So we'll see how that goes. But we do want to stay on back to a Sunday schedule. Sunday just doesn't seem the same without hanging out with Rasa and chatting comics. So I'm glad that we're back to that. That glass didn't get cleaned out properly, but I'm going to use it anyways because I'm a filthy animal. Got out the cooking sake to finish that up. So cheers, everybody. Let's have a little sniff. Not as good as what I had this afternoon, but good enough. Oh yeah, lovely. Okay, let's get into it here. So I've got to do some cleaning down here. Let's start with this one that I didn't talk about this afternoon. But we'll start off with it. 2-issue series, found it at the flea market yesterday. I think it was $5 for the both of them. I've talked about Eastern Comics and Manhwa before. So this is there was only 2 issues of this that ever came out, even though the second one says to be continued. This is Trickster King Monkey issues number 1 and 2, and they're kind of double-sized. I've loved the Eastern comics that I've read so far. This one has a real nice kind of bit of history in it at the front in the introduction here, just talking about Trickster King Monkey isn't just another funny animal story. It's very unusual for a comic book. It's based on the 16th century Chinese folk classic, which I won't try to pronounce, by someone who lived from 1500 to 1580 AD. And it follows in a long tradition of translations and adaptations. And one of those adaptations is this by Milo Manara, the ape, and Silverio Pisu. So this is based on the exact same character, obviously a different take on it. Manara, so I pulled this off of the shelves. Colin Blanchett, how are you? Pulled this off the shelves to read this week. I don't know if I've ever actually read the whole thing. This also did appear in Heavy Metal magazine. So if you can't find this, you can probably find those issues. So as we've spoken about before, Eastern didn't last very long. They only had a small handful of titles. But like I said, every single one that I've read so far, I've really, really enjoyed. This one was a pretty fun story. Kind of didn't go in the direction I had thought. This monkey is a little shit. He's born from a stone and kind of becomes ruler of this monkey kingdom. And about 300 and some odd years into his life, he starts to kind of get the sense that death is coming for him, and he's terrified. And I tagged that page there. And he's terrified, so he's told about the gods who can train him to overcome death. So he goes on a mission to find a master to train him in the ways of all things. How to transform his body, how to fly on clouds, how to meditate, and just kind of harness all of his energies and become really strong. I think he ends up staying with this master for 10 years or something like that, more than 10 years after leaving the island. The Monkey King, aware of nothing, finally attained the immortality he so desired. He was given the name Aware of Nothing by this priest. Lord Tatman, how are you? And then it just goes from there, and he goes back and kind of, like I said, is just kind of a shit to the gods. The god of death does eventually come for him, and he ends up killing his minions and erasing his name and his people's names from the book of death, throwing everything into chaos and angering the gods in heaven to come down after him and try to punish him in some way. But every attempt fails. And like I said, it ends after issue number 2, from the company just ending. I don't know how or the reasons behind why Eastern stopped. I can only speculate that it's due to they weren't selling any books and ran out of money. But it's great. There's not many titles, so I'm looking forward to. I want to try to get all of these eventually, but this is 2 now. I can cross off my list on my comic shop or on Lone Star there, because I had them on a list there for quite a while. I'd say if you see any Eastern, especially that, I think it was called The Untouchables, right? The one about baseball. Absolutely grab those ones. But if you see this, it's a nice little story. It's not kind of the best of the Eastern books, but I enjoyed it. And it's only the 2 issues, so you don't have to hunt for too much. And of course, if you want to see some other adaptations, there's one adaptation here, The Ape. Let's put those down here. Oh, mama. Another thing that I found at the flea market was this Batman and Robin Adventures Sub-Zero. I don't know if you've heard, but I happen to like the animated series. I say it, I feel like every week, especially with these other books coming out. This was a one-off movie, a straight-to-video cassette release, I think, at the time. I don't think it appeared anywhere else. I think it was just straight to tape. And one of a really, really good one, actually. The movie itself is pretty fantastic. Dr. Freeze, I think, is one of the characters that was handled incredibly well on the animated series, as were all of the villains. But Dr. Freeze stories always kind of were a little bit extra special for me. So this one is written by Kelly Puckett, penciled by Joe Staton, and inked by Terry Beattie. Color by Rick Taylor, lettered by Tim Harkins. This is just a pretty straight. It's been a long time since I've seen the movie, but it was pretty straight ahead from what my memory is of that movie. Doesn't really go off into any other territories. The art is incredible, even better than normal. There's something extra to it. There's something in the kind of movements of the characters on the page. Some of these action scenes are pretty stellar. Almost kind of comedic use of characterization there, you know, getting kicked in the nuts, punched in the teeth. Almost a little cartoony as well. There's just a quality to it that I can't quite put my finger on it, but I love the design of these characters. Still really in that world, but somewhat unique. Let's find a couple of other things here. So basically, Dr. Freeze is wife. All of these stories always kind of center around his wife. There's a cave-in, and his wife's kind of encapsulation gets damaged, and she needs a transplant, an organ transplant. So they have to look for someone who is the same blood type, and wouldn't you know it, it just happens to be Barbara Gordon. Coincidentally happens to be the same blood type. So she's kidnapped and held hostage. And of course, the team jump into action to save her. So that's the very, very basics of the story. Not much there. Like, look at that Robin shot there. It's really nice stuff. I enjoyed this. It delivers exactly what it should. Doesn't give you too much extra, but like I said, it's all about these poses. These poses are incredible. Really, really well put together book. I'm going to have to see if I know I have the videotape somewhere. I'm going to have to dig it out, I think, and give it a look-see. I won't spoil it like I did in the chat this afternoon, but everything turns out fine. Surprise, surprise. So yeah, a really, really nice one shot. It's kind of a double-sized issue as well too. So I've never seen it around in the bins. This is the first time I've come across it. I think it was a $5 book as well too, but worth every penny for sure. What else do we have here? It might be a bit of a quicker stream tonight because I didn't read a ton of books this week. I feel like I might have forgotten something, but maybe not. A new comic from this week. I didn't have much on my pull list at Galaxy, so I had to dig on the shelves. I'd seen this cover online, and there's a couple of different covers for this one. Don't Spit in the Wind. They looked appealing. So when it's a really light week, if I make it there every week, I'll try to pick something up. There's a kind of sorry, let's do the credits first. So Stefano Cardoselli, writer and the artist, and then Brian S. Long is the writer's assistant, Don Lee on the colors. There's a Brendan Graham type of vibe to this, but it looks like this stuff was drawn small and then blown up. So it feels like it was done a little reverse. There's kind of a quality to it that has that blown up kind of look to the art. I'm kind of on the fence. I don't know if I love this art or if I hate it. I enjoyed it, but there's something about it. There's a nice texture to everything too, and I know that some of that is kind of added and just the way that comics are produced, but it feels like there's some kind of extra quality to it that I just can't quite put my finger on. The story itself isn't that mind-blowing. Humanity has left Earth and is living in a space station in orbit. There's this company, I guess, or there's a couple of companies doing various things. Our main character here is part of the kind of this garbage collector company, and they're set around the planet to kind of clean it up. Some species have survived, and what he says at the beginning, he says it really feels like the Earth was just done with humans and has kind of left it to the animals. So we don't know exactly what's happened. There's hints at stuff. There's one of the teammates has kind of disappeared and is not answering radio transmissions. So, of course, they're sent off to look for him to see what the hell happened, where he's gone. And all hell kind of breaks loose when a cloud of locusts comes storming at one of the people going into this facility here that this guy that's missing, whose name I've forgotten, was sent to clean up. So he's entering the facility and gets swarmed by these locusts, and that's kind of where it leaves us. It's from a company that I'm not super familiar with. I know I've seen the label before, but I've never read anything else from, is that Mad Cave? Yeah, Mad Cave Comics. Mad Cave Studios, Miami, Florida is where they're based out of. Someone in the chat, I think it was Forgerelli, was saying in the chat this afternoon that he's read some other Mad Cave stuff and hasn't been very impressed with anything. I would have a look at the second issue when it came out. If I forgot to pick it up, I don't think I would miss it too much, but it's always nice to try out something new. The one that was on the shelf that kind of surprised me, I was talking to Colin about it too. And I think Donald Rex in the chat this afternoon was saying his shop got a copy of it as well. It must be because it's now this Ignatz award-winning comic. So this is the third printing of Caroline Cash's Pee Pee Poo Poo, magazine size. Number 69, dude. This is one that I've wanted for quite a while, but it's one of those books that when I put these, it's Silver Sprocket, by the way. So this is the third printing, and it's limited printing of 2000. I don't know why my comic shop got it. All I know is I went up to him and told him that if you get any more Silver Sprocket books, just put them straight into my pull box. I'll take whatever you end up getting. Hoping to kind of keep this encouragement going here with my other shop getting in the Floating World, Power Comics, Crowbar 9, I don't know what's going on, but I'm loving it. So any of these shops locally that are going to pick this stuff up, I'm absolutely going to buy them so I can save a boatload on shipping. I think this is just one that's ended up in my cart at various times, and as I fill a cart and empty a cart and fill a cart and empty a cart before I finally buy something, it's just one that's just kind of not stuck around. So I'm glad to have it. It's great. It's just a little one-person anthology. Caroline does everything in here as far as I know. Yeah, just credits just for her. And just as a couple of short stories with kind of an underground-ish type of flair. You saw on the first page, it was the Calvin version of her pissing on Crumb's head. And then you get this little 3-panel strip here. As a wise man once said, pee pee poo poo. So it's great. I really enjoyed it. One of the stories, there's an Art School Confidential riff, kind of after Klaus, her doing her version, which was okay. It wasn't one of my favorites. I think my favorite was this strip here called One Beer, about these 2 women going into a bar to hang out and just kind of chat relationships and the struggles they have in kind of dating and picking people up. One of the really nice moments is kind of as they're talking about kind of techniques, I guess, of flirting. It's driving me nice. At least there's always the old faithful. And she's like, oh, what's that? The tried and true method of comparing hand sizes. And she says, how does that work? So this is to which we get this page here. Here, give me your hand. And they get some contact. And I thought this was a really nice page, just them sitting in the bar. Word balloons empty. Really beautiful illustration. I really like this page a lot. Really nice moment. Really great story because we get the couple of douchebags, a couple of bar douchebags coming to buy them drinks, to which, of course, as they should, they say yes and drink themselves silly on someone else's dime. And then they get the fuck out of there, saying they're going to the bathroom, and they head out the back door to kind of continue their night with another gorgeous page. Yeah, this is really good stuff. I love her character drawing. I love these stories. I love the backgrounds. I even love, like, look at the top of that panel there. It's really amazing stuff. Very, very impressive. And then we get one final story in here too, talking about kind of, what do they call it? What's the term? I've been catfishing this guy is the name. He thinks I'm a 22-year-old girl named Caitlin, and I send him photos of my poop for money. So just kind of the ramifications of that and how he feels about doing it. So yeah, if you see it, I'd suggest picking it up. $9.99 is the price tag from Silver Sprocket there. Yeah, so a good book. What else did I have? That can't be it. Is it already? It very well might be. Let me just see. I started reading Queen and Country. I'm only kind of one issue in on it. It hasn't grabbed me. I'm not crazy about the art kind of at all, to be honest. But I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to try to get through this volume to give it a fair shake, because I've heard so many good things about it over the years that I really do want to give it a shot. But so far, it hasn't kind of grabbed me like I thought it would. But it's still, part of me, it's still early days. I think I talked about this one last week. Robin Year One. Fantastic recommendation from the chat on the Sunday stream. I really enjoyed this book a lot. I thought this was really top notch, which is just strange. I guess I'm just in a Batman mode. I don't know what it is, but this was a really good read. The one that I'm almost done, I won't talk about it too much. If you want to see what I said about it, go to the chat from this afternoon. I'm about halfway through Chartwell Manor by Glenn Head. And once I'm finished, we'll talk about it for sure, because I've got a bunch of thoughts about it. And like I said, only halfway through, so too early to kind of give a full review of it. But it's one that's been on my list for quite a while. I think he did an interview with Noah Van Sciver. Was it last year, or maybe it was in 2021 when this came out? I don't remember. It was a great little interview. Van Sciver always has some good interviews, though, I find, with cartoonists. His art style is pretty fantastic. He's a guy that I've seen a lot of from the kind of anthologies 90s era. He was always someone that I kind of focused on a little bit, but I was never a hardcore Glenn Head fan where I felt like I had to uncover more of his stuff and get my hands on everything that he'd done. But it was always impressive stuff, and the stories themselves were pretty entertaining. So this is kind of his autobiographical story of growing up, going to this private school, and some pretty high praise from people like R. Crumb, and more importantly, Justin Green, who says, born too late to be a member of the original Underground, this establishes Head as being on equal footing with the best cartoonist of those tattered ranks. With his unique cartooning style and lean and mean prose, he's keeping the flame of the original genre alive. He somehow pulls this off with zero pretension, astonishing honesty, and understated wit. Pretty high praise from Justin Green there. So really amazing. Yeah. Well, shit. That is all that I've read this week, I think. Yeah. Just a quick look at some stuff I also found at the flea market, an Underground, Moo, The Land That Never Was. Metzger, George Metzger book. I've never seen this in the wild. I've seen it online and stuff as part of some Underground Comics lots, but recently those lots are pretty hard to come by for a good price over the last number of years, so I always end up passing on them. So that was good to find. The next issue of Mad Balls versus Garbage Pail Kids, Time Again, Slime Again. Nothing really new to say about this. I haven't read it yet, but it is what it is. You get what you pay for. Dead Boy Detectives. Oh, it is number 4. Okay, I thought I fucked up and got number 3 again with a different cover. So this is the new issue, so that's good. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this anymore. I feel like I'm too far in to kind of give it up. The art is pretty nice, though. I just don't know if I'm feeling the story as much as I thought I would, but going to carry out to the end. One that I have a trouble of seeing, this is number 3 of 6 from the Monster Comics, King Kong. He also had number 1 there as well, which has the Dave Stevens cover. But what was the price tag he had on it? Was it like $20 or $30? I don't remember what it was, which is insane. There's no way I'm paying that kind of money for that one. So yeah, it's not an easy series to find out of the Monster. Not that Monster Comics line from Fantagraphics is easy to find anyway, but this series, especially that first issue, very, very tough to find. It's a beautiful book, though. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I only have the 1 issue. So it's adapted and illustrated by Donald Simpson. And then William Stout on covers. Yeah, no, just him. So no other credits. 1991 is when this is from. Damn hard to find those. Yeah, it really is hard to find. And like I said, that first issue is even harder to find, even when you find it online. It's pretty pricey, but I just couldn't bring myself to paying that for 1 issue of. It's not like I'm. It's not like I hate King Kong or anything, but I thought it was a little excessive. So I'll wait, and maybe it'll come down in price. I know where to go to find it anyway. So there we go. One, maybe Colin, with you being here, maybe you know something about this from Ripoff Press. Something called Model by Day. It was $5, but look at that fucking cover. How could I say no? Eugene's for men. You got to be a man to wear them. And look at this character on the front. It's great. And then the back cover, I didn't even, I mean, I rarely do anyway, open books up, especially when they're all sealed up in plastic and bags and boards and stuff. But I bought it purely based on that cover. So it's from 1990. Kevin J. Taylor is the creator. Yeah, I'd never seen it before either. And ripoff presses is something that I guess I don't see many ripoff press books out there. And when you do, you end up seeing the same ones all over again, which is nothing wrong with that. But I guess I often forget that ripoff did a bunch of other books as well too. So I'm very curious about this. I haven't looked it up online or anything to find out any information, but that cover alone was well worth the price. I don't know if any of you saw the Kayfabe last Sunday, the interview with Dennis Kitchen. Speaking of undergrounds, amazing 2-hour conversation with Dennis covering kind of the 70s, I think, from when he started to, I think they made it up to like 1980, and they're going to hopefully do a second part to kind of go from 1980 to present. But if you're girl, okay, if you're at all into the undergrounds and if you're all into kind of kitchen sink, it's well worth it. He talks a lot about self-publishing and starting his business and going through ups and downs. He talks about going to see Stan Lee to do Comics Book, the 2 issues that he did with Marvel. He talks about meeting with James Warren at the same time too, which is a great story. He's got stories, man. It's super impressive. An amazing guy, fantastic cartoonist. He seems like a really just solid guy too. Like he just seems like a legitimate, not a fucking scumbag. You know what I mean? And he kind of cracks a couple of jokes about hiring hippies at the time to go and deliver these comics to head shops and saying like, you guys can get high after work. I just need you to deliver this box to where it's got to go. Please just do this one thing for me. Take this to this one location. And he said it was a challenge and facing those kind of challenges. So I thought that was hilarious. And then the last one from the bins at the flea market, Tim Tyler's Blood Rain #1. Fucking amazing. I had to flip through this one. I haven't read it yet, but it's black and white and red, of course. But the red is used so sparingly in this first issue anyway. But I mean, Jesus, man, look at this shit. His characters are just crazy looking. You know, you get some TNA, which I'm always a fan of. This is a book to read with your pants on, though, because it's pretty goddamn violent, but really, really nice use of that red. It doesn't kind of drench the page, at least not at this point. I have a feeling this might be a book that further the series goes on, the more blood we get on the page. It just has, I just have a sense that that's what's coming. But man, this looks good. This is on the top of the pile to read tonight. Look at this shit. The guy is unbelievable. Did I say when this came out? 1991 from Fathom Press. That I don't think I've ever seen anything from Fathom Press. It looks like Tim's artwork in that corner box too, so I don't know if this was his company or something. Naked chick with a gun. What more do you need? Let's see if we can get some. Yeah, here we go. There's some carnage there as these guys fight it out. So a nice find. It seems like everything was $5. This was $5 as well. But again, totally worth it. Anything extra in the back? No, just an ad for Blood Rain #2. Like I said, I think this went like 5 or 6 issues, maybe something like that. So very, very cool. That's it, people. Thanks very much for hanging out. Next, like I said, not sure if we're going to do a show next Sunday or not, with it being the holidays, with it being Easter. but we'll see. I wouldn't mind chatting on Sunday anyway. If not, I will see you next Sunday night. Right on. Thanks, everybody. Aha. Later.